Society these days erroneously compares the development of a lady to be precisely the same as that of a man, willfully unaware of natural reality. Usually, you will see this common misconception being supported by young ladies. While this can be seen at different focuses in their lives, there are some key periods when this can be explicit. For instance, the revelation stage young ladies, who at last need to tap out, depict one part of this development legend as them having at last adult developed and needing to discover a person who is commendable of them. There are a ton of reasons why young ladies arrive at their revelation stage, and their gathering years ultimately winds up with their smartened up, developing to look for responsibility, failure to secure an alpha fucks considerably less an alpha bucks, worry for her status inside sisterhood, the need to get monetary solidness, and so on are largely all around talked about and clarified, while the craving for settling down is normally chalked to her interest for monetary soundness, hypergamy, or worry for her status inside the sisterhood, and her anxiety that if she passes up a major opportunity marriage, she will be consigned to the lower rung of the sisterhood, since it is clarified that wedded ladies outclass separated from ladies, who outclass never wedded ladies. These are not the whole reasons why ladies chase for responsibility. While these variables do assume a major part, we likewise need to recollect that ladies eventually carry on honestly of the general public they are in, the guidelines of their science, and the amount of their organic basic is permitted inside the setting of the standards of the general public they live in. Men who pardon the crappy conduct of ladies as being a direct result of their inclination regularly fail to remember the job society plays in encouraging them to have a sense of security in acting a specific manner. While ladies may act in a self-centered manner to boost their own advantages, they are for sure carrying on reasonably of society and what is permitted inside these principles. Think about two unique kinds of young ladies: the well-off professional young lady and a broke single parent. While the instance of the single parent who needs to settle down to get monetary security appears glaringly evident enough, the instance of the vocation young lady needs more clarification. Ladies live as indicated by content. Most ladies purposely do things that were the space of men in the days of yore. This is accomplished for a few reasons. We will get to the reasons in the wake of thinking about what is the content that ladies for the most part play by the current guidelines of society is that you grow up, become a legitimate grown-up when you turn 18, go through your childhood acquiring experience and development. You arrive at a specific point where you want to deal with wedded life, settle down and construct your own family. As was clarified already, this is only an appointment of what used to be the overall rule for a day-to-day existence way for men in the days of yore. You grow up, become a young adult, find a new line of work, join military, become a financial specialist, get some development, and afterward start your own family. A transitional experience to manliness. Ladies, in the days of yore, were required to follow an alternate way. They were to learn wifely obligations, discover a person that she would feel great submitting to and one that is inside her group, and keep up the family. Obviously, there's used to be a more aloof methodology. Ladies got guidance on this from more seasoned ladies in their families, who on account of family units were moms and grandmas, and on account of more distant families would include moms, grandmas, aunties, and so on. In any case, these ladies had themselves done what they were showing their little girls to do, while the ladies were instrumental in incorporating a young lady into a young lady deserving of wedded life. The job of the dad was to help vet and screen youngsters needing to wed their little girls. With the coming of sexual orientation equity theory, and the thought that people are something very similar with simply extraordinary sex organs, we've set the existence way of both the sexes to be something very similar. We realize that ladies really pine for this, and readily lid this through developments like women's rights. Yet for the degree of this post, how about we simply stay with this being made by society overall for the present? At the point when men were relied upon to develop, their development was required to come from difficulty, personal growth, and achievement prompting expanded asset securing. This really worked because men are relied upon to be the suppliers notwithstanding. This development cycle regularly happened away from the eyes of ladies. Different societies have had soul-changing experiences functions, where young men were shipped off to the woodland for a while so they can figure out how to get by all alone. While this can be followed back to the underlying foundations of each general public, as society advances, young fellows normally went through their transitional experiences in the midst of different men, coaches who comprised of more established men, siblings, fathers, uncles, family companions, and associates. Nowadays, when ladies are relied upon to go through the interaction of development, They are required to date around, characterize their taste by experimentation, get some development dependent on their encounters, and afterward settle to construct a family. Ladies, being sexual animals in that is their essential worth, characterize their whole cycle of development through screwing. This is a lid for most ladies. Seen through this viewpoint, a young lady who goes through a progression of momentary connections isn't entirely different from a young lady who goes through a progression of casual sexual encounters before choosing to settle down. The minority that attempts to follow the conventional male development cycle of force and asset obtaining winds up getting manly and can just draw in female men. This is the destiny of professional ladies. The explanation ladies generally go through this development interaction is fundamentally a result of two things. The mixed-up conviction on ladies' part that men are additionally pulled into characteristics that ladies are pulled into. While she figures a manly man would see the value in a lady who is intense and who went through the male development measure, what she doesn't comprehend is that this just applies among men. While each lady needs to satisfy her hypergamous objective of getting a higher worth person than herself, woman's rights have made it awful to be accommodating to men or to do anything satisfying to any man. The laid-out development measure fills in as a demonstration of insubordination to her man-controlled society characterized by rules to womanliness. Ladies utilize this development cycle to attempt to demonstrate to themselves and men that they're just about as proficient as men before at last settling down to be a spouse. This whole interaction is a resistance to being totally ladylike, or even alluringly female. It's an assertion of, I can do man stuff as well. Since I've utilized my childhood to do man stuff, which I anticipate dazzled you, I need your regard not as a lady but rather as one of your equivalents, a man, and I need a preferred agreement over what I would have gotten under the severe man-centric society. On the off chance that you take a gander at the ages at which Americans got hitched even 40 years prior, it was around the age of 25 for the fellow and 22 for the young lady. Nowadays, it's around 30 for the folks and 28 for the young ladies. Nowadays, the age at which young ladies even begin to consider securing somebody with monetary potential is around 25. Which, if you notice, is the age at what men used to get hitched. This is basically a direct result of the women's activist message, that ladies are at their top in their 30s. Yet this is unimaginable without the acknowledgement for the development cycle she should go through before settling down. At the point when ladies get to the furthest limit of their development cycle, which is advantageously just after their gathering years, they wildly begin hoping to settle down not as a result of different ladies alone, but since everybody around her anticipates that she should have gotten full-grown and fit for settling down. This is generally when loved ones who excused her gathering a very long time as her winding up will begin straightforwardly posing inquiries like, when will she at last demonstration like a grown-up and settle down? Young ladies go for betas around this time to extricate assets, as well as to win social focuses. A beta fills precisely the same need like that of a strikingly gorgeous spouse. He is there to make her look great in the public eye's eyes. She doesn't cherish him or cares about his prosperity. He is simply there to secure her and fill in as an incidental award. He is evidence that she did develop, lastly turned into a grown-up. Furthermore, if it doesn't work out, it was because he was not adequately experienced to make it work. It was by no deficiency of hers. All things considered, in the wake of having committed errors and developing hence, she turned into a grown-up. He simply wasn't adequately developed.